Yo. Top of the morning to the game, man. It's December the 23rd, 2023. And we're a day away from Christmas, man. It's crazy. I was up late last night capping these games. Went to sleep for a couple hours and woke back up to do the show this morning as requested yesterday, man. So we're going to get to it. We're going to get right into it. As always, hit the like button for me if you can. I said a lot of people was waiting in the chat this morning. So shout out to everybody for tapping in off the early morning, man. Early morning. At least for me, just because I just woke up probably about 30 minutes ago. What up, Justin? Appreciate you for being here, man. He said appreciate the show. Yeah, if y'all appreciate the show, hit the like button for me, man. I'll do a Christmas show too as well. If early morning Christmas show, if we get enough love on this video for sure over on YouTube. Good morning, Brian. Appreciate you for being here. He says Memphis is +1 this morning. I wonder why the change. Brian also says that push from Washington chipped away my parlay last night. Couldn't believe it. Yeah, that 12 was crazy last night because they ended up hitting the 3 at the end of the game. David says everyone hit the like button. Brian says I looked at the injury report. Hunter for Atlanta is on it. What else y'all talking about in the chat? Is Luka out for today's game? Also, he's still listed as questionable, Dominic, is what I saw when I looked last night. No Porzingis today. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. What's up, Damian? Appreciate you for being here. What up, Sean? As always, appreciate you for being here. Mike says 21 people. Why 21 people waiting? 10 likes. Smash the like, people. Appreciate you for shouting that out. What up, Malik? My guy, Matthew, Tasha. Good morning. Real DJX. Appreciate y'all for being here. Wimby. He says Dallas under was an easy cash, and yeah, it was. It was an easy cash yesterday. So let's do that. Let's transition to the injury to the recap. Top of the morning, Tariq. Appreciate you for being here as always, Glow Boy. The gang in here, man. Appreciate y'all for pulling up on me this morning. So let's go to it. So yesterday on a show, I gave out 4 plays. I ended up adding 3 late, and I'm glad I did because the 4 plays that I gave out was Philly first half. You see them kind of sleepwalk through the first half. It's crazy how they do that, man. They give up 37 points in the first quarter to the Toronto Raptors, who were on the first leg of a road home back-to-back in their first road game in 5 games, and come out there and let Toronto score 37. Now it's still making me frustrated. So they end up coming all the way back, but they don't cover the 4.5 for the first half. But they end up covering the full game. So Philly, they are still profitable in Philly this year, but they've been smoking some of my money for sure. We also went Jokic rebounds over 12.5. That was another dud. He lost that, but we did cash on Houston last night. Houston cashed us out. We took the under on Dallas team total, and that was like not even sweaty. They didn't even score 100 points. We also picked the under in the full game because Houston can also struggle, to score at times. So those were 2 winners that we gave out. So 2 winners, 2 losers. Then I ended up adding 3 plays last night. Those 3 plays were doubled down on Washington. Took them first half. Thought that they probably wouldn't run out of gas. Talked about that on the show too. That was an easy cash. And then full game ended up getting 11, and 3-pointer helped us to get a push there. And then something in my gut told me that Sacramento was the right side last night, especially without Eubanks being there for Phoenix last night. And I was right. That 3.5 covered pretty easily. They end up going up by 30 points at one point in that game before they let the Suns come back. So 4-2 in one day yesterday. We made some profit, made it 1.34 units, which brings us to 141, 110, and 1 on the season, plus 27.08 units. So hopefully we can kind of keep trending in that direction. It's a big card today. You don't have to play every single game, but I got a couple looks that I like. So we'll see how it goes. Man, so it's a lot. It's 11 games on the slate today, so I'm gonna have to pause and take me a water break every now and then. But let's get into the games for today, man. Not going to be a super long show today, but I'm gonna get through every single game, let you guys know what my research bought me, and the couple plays that I did play. Got a couple that I'm looking towards that I haven't locked in yet either. So first game of the day, we got Bucks and we got Knicks. This game actually gonna be played at 12:30. So about 2 hours and 30 minutes, we're gonna get Bucks versus Knicks. This line actually opened in favor of the Knicks. I'm sorry, in favor of the Bucks. They were 2.5. They were 2 points and 2.5 point last night when I fell asleep. Now you see money start to come in on the Knicks in this spot. The total did go up in this one. I want to say it opened at 239.5, and it was moving as soon as I started capping the game last night. I saw it start to trend up. So real quick, let me get to my notes real quick. So 240, yeah. So it actually come back down a little bit to 243. All right, so for the Knicks, Jericho Sims is out. Of course, Mr. Robinson is out as well. This is a really bad travel spot for both teams. So for the Bucks, it's their fifth straight. They're 5-5 on the road. First road game after 4 straight home games. So the Bucks literally had 4 games at the crib. Their last 4 games at the crib. They flew to Vegas for the one game where they got eliminated from the in-season tournament against the Pacers. And before that, they had 4 more games at home. So the Bucks have literally been at the crib for a really long time. You look at the Knicks side, and they're 7-3 at home, straight up 5-4-1 against the number. This is their first game back home after 5 straight road games. They actually play the Bucks again on Christmas Day. So, this one you could just kind of sit out. You could wait, see what happens. As far as from a side perspective, because whatever happens here, you probably see the opposite happen on the Christmas Day game. But looking into the game, so a couple angles I wanted to look at. I wanted to look into teams that was coming off a 5-game road trip, then being a dog at home. So since the start of the 2021 season, they're 13-27 straight up, 18-21 against the spread. Those games actually go under just a tad bit, 22-18. So not a lot there. Head to head, the Bucks have kind of owned the Knicks. They won 8 of the last 10 meetings, and they've covered 6 of the last 10 with 2 losses and 2 pushes as well. The total, however, is 7-3 to the under in the last 10 matchups. Although we do have to remember that this is the in-season revenge. The revenge game for the Knicks should be in this spot. Remember, it was December the 5th, so about 2 weeks ago, where they absolutely got smoked, 146-122 on the road. That was the game that Julius Randle had a really good game, but nobody else really showed up. So, logic says that Jalen Brunson probably plays a little bit better. I want to say in that game he didn't even make a 3-pointer. I feel like he should bounce back a little bit. I know his points prop, I think, was like 24.5. Also, what did I have else in mind? So Knicks have so I'm actually looking towards the over in this game. I know that the total is dropping 243. It was up to 243.5. So you do see some bad back here. I did go. I went super light, but I did put a half unit on the over in this spot. I just kind of look at it. The Bucks offense extremely high powered, right? The defense not so much. Bucks actually gave up 114 points to Orlando, 119 to San Antonio, 119 to Houston in their last 3 games. They're 7-3 to the over on the road as well, and 7-2 to the over this month, with all of their games actually combining to average about 253 points in this spot. So that last game, of course, had Mitchell Robinson, but that total was 230.5, and this game was just played less than 2 weeks ago. The total is now, last night it was 243. So, it's a lot of trends that say that, if teams play each other within 2 weeks and the total moves up and then they play again, they'll probably take the over. So I like the over in this spot. Knicks 5-2 to the over without Mitchell Robinson this season. Games that they're actually going over by average of 17 points. And that's, even with 2 unders with the Lakers in the net in the Nets in their last 2 games. So, I like the over in this spot. I didn't go super crazy on it, but I did play the over at 243.5. Now you see it, like I said, it's up to 240. It's back down to 243. So maybe some sharp money coming in on the under in this spot. Player props, lots you can absolutely love in this spot. I think the one that really stuck out to me was Brook Lopez. And the reason why is because I'm not sure what's going to happen in the game. I do know that Brook Lopez typically gets 3 blocks every time he plays against the Knicks. This was something that I want to say it was who was it that talked about this? Somebody talked about it 2 weeks ago when we did the show. I want to say it was Flo. Flo, give my guys credit. I think it was Flo. So Brook Lopez over his 2.5 blocks. This number was actually plus 130 last night on DraftKings and BetMGM. Well, not last night, but early this morning, like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. He continues to cash versus the Knicks. He had three blocks in the matchup where they just faced it off 2 weeks ago. He had 8 in the first matchup because this is the 3rd time that these teams have played against each other. He had 8 in that first matchup, even dating back to the last game from last season, where he played the last matchup he played them last season. He had 3 blocks as well. So 3 blocks, 8 blocks, and 3 blocks in his last 3 meetings versus the Knicks. Last thing I'll mention on this game, and then we can keep it moving. This is pretty interesting to me. So if you like the over, right? Even if you don't like the over at 243, I think it's pretty interesting to me that the total for this game is and a lot of books have taken down the total for the Christmas game, but you can still get the total for the Christmas game. The total for the Christmas game is, you know what? Never mind, you can't anymore. Last night when I was looking at this though, Sports Illustrated actually still had the total. So you can look ahead to these Christmas games. The total was 224.5. This total is 243. So I think I don't think the next game is gonna go under by 19 points, depending on what happened here. So I was gonna tell you guys, even though it's taken off the board now, I was gonna tell you guys that when I looked last night, the total was still up for a couple different sports books. But yeah, that total being so low for the next game, I don't think it's going to drop 19.5 points or 19 points. So I was going to tell you guys to look at that as well. So let me see what you guys are saying in the chat real quick, and then we'll keep it moving as always to the next game. Let's see. Marcus says, top of the morning, killer. Appreciate you for tapping in. Happy holidays to you, Marcus. Real DJ said, I had a cash out 100-3 parlay with Sengun over 20 points. Tobias 7 first half, and Dorian Finney-Smith over 6 points. He was showing out for his dad that just got out of the feds. Yeah, I saw that. I did end up seeing the story. I know somebody mentioned it. And like I said, I figured it happened in Virginia. I did look into that story, Dorian Finney-Smith. Shout out to him, man. Not to get too far off topic, but shout out to the Dallas Mavericks. It sounds like Mark Cuban and some of those guys help. They kind of vouch for Dorian Finney-Smith, pops, and Dorian Finney-Smith in general, and they did a really good job of helping out. So AAA said spaces ain't working for me. Y'all give me a thumbs up if y'all can hear me in the spaces. Let me know if y'all can hear me on Twitter. Let's see. Most early weekend games usually go under. But I think this one goes over. Now, I think it's the opposite, DJX. I think the early morning games on the weekend actually go over, especially when the Knicks involved. They typically go over. I got to look into it, but I know that was something that we played last year. I remember them playing against the Charlotte Hornets. I remember them playing against a couple West Coast teams. I can't remember exactly what teams it was. But if y'all can hear me in the space, y'all shoot me a thumbs up. Shoot me an emoji. Let me know if y'all can hear me or not in the space. What's up, Itachi? He says, top of the morning, my G. Appreciate the weekend show. Absolutely, man. Tasha likes Knicks first half in this spot. Appreciate it. I see the thumbs up. Appreciate y'all. Tasha likes Knicks first half here. Wimby says, I like the Knicks team total to go over. Couldn't talk you off of that spot. I think both teams going to be able to score. Shadow says, I think Brunson over his points is a good look. Guards continue to kill the Bucks. I would agree there. Colin says, thoughts on Giannis over 37.5 points plus assists, or just the over 5.5 assists. New York has lost its best defender. Giannis should be getting to the paint and facilitating, and New York now allows second most assists since Robinson is out. I would agree. I think it's going to be a fast-paced game. I like the overs in this game. Not a game that I like a lot of unders on at all. Raptors fan says, give me Julius Randle overs 9.5 rebounds. With Mitchell Robinson out for the season, the rebound chances for Randle should go up, in my opinion. I would agree there. As long as they're playing some defense, he should absolutely continue to get double-doubles for sure, Raptors fan. Also, I think the value comes in, and I don't see him in the chat, but I think the value comes in on Josh Hart rebounds, because he's going to play a lot of that power forward, especially with Jericho Sims not being out there now. I want to say he just had 12 rebounds. So if you're looking for the discount, you probably want to look at Josh Hart over his rebounds as well. Also, I know Mitchell Robinson was supposed to be ruled like he's supposed to be out for the season, but I read something last night. Thibodeau also said that like he don't know where that came from. He's still gonna be reevaluated in 8 to 10 weeks. So we'll see how it goes. Glowboy says, I like the Bucks only because how hurt New York is in the center position. They only have Taj Gibson and Hardenstein, and that is a fact. ABJ says, what's up, Chris? Love the show. cashed out big with your tips last 2 days. Thanks. I appreciate that, ABJ. Hope you cash again, man. Appreciate the kind words. Young Crody says Jalen Brunson points. Bucks always get torched by point guards. We were on Jalen Brunson in that last game, and he did not come through, man. Jalen Brunson did not come through in that last game. It should be a bounce back spot here, though, for him. I would agree there. ABJ says, I think the Knicks versus Bucks is under. He said time they play, they're not used to the injuries, and under has cashed 6 of the last 7 meetings, he thinks. Okay. You could be right. I'm on the opposite side there, ABJ. I think the early start time, both of these defenses are not necessarily trending in the right direction. I like the over, but I do need the Knicks to be able to score the ball. Let's see. 2 Millie says Dame assists. Knicks ranked 28th to point guards allowing assists. Okay. And Damian J says he likes the Bucks -3 at +104. So he did a little alt spread. Colin, I'm glad you pointed this out. He says Brunson also got called too small and it's been circulating online. I'm not sure if he's going to really look into that, Colin. I did see that. He got called out by Becky Hammond, who's the coach of the Las Vegas Aces. And, it looked like she kind of walked it back a little bit. Yesterday, I saw her post something that she said, she calling it what it is. But pretty much what she was saying is that you can't win with the best player on your team being that small. So, I mean, we win a championship, and I'm not sure how much that means to Brunson. We'll see what it means. Brunson got all the motivation just because he didn't show up in the in-season tournament game when they were playing anyway. So, not going to spend too much time on that game, but I did play the over. Also consider Brook Lopez over his 2.5 blocks in that game. Next game up, we got Celtics. We got Clippers. This game will be played in LA. This is also another early start time. This is a 3:30 game. Early start time for both teams. The Celtics not used to playing this early. The Clippers do play some matinee games, but they'll have to get themselves ready for this game a little bit earlier as well. So injury-wise, Jason Tatum is listed as questionable. Luke Cornett is ruled out, and Porzingis also is ruled out in this game. He did something to his knee or his ankle. I think it's his ankle in that Sacramento win the other night, and he won't play in this one, even though I think he does play in the Christmas Day game. I was reading through it. Sounds like he's going to try to get himself in shape to be ready for that game. Mazzulla also said that he said, and it was some kind of quote he had yesterday where he said it'll be hard to make Jason Tatum sit 2 games in a row. So I do expect Tatum to be in this one, and I think that's why you see the line kind of going in their favor. I'm not sure what to do with this game, though. Boston, 7-6 on the road. They're just 3-8-2 against the spread. They're coming off the beatdown versus the Kings the other day. This is the 3rd game on the West Coast road trip. They've had 2 days off in LA in between. You look at this Clippers team, they're 11-3 at the crib, 8-6 against the spread, 7-3 in their last 10 games. They've been really, really hot. They did kind of fizzle out, which was a scheduled loss against the Oklahoma City Thunder the other day. This is a 3rd game in 4 nights. But the reason why it's kind of difficult to grade this game or cap this game is because it is their game in 4 nights, but Kawhi missed that game and PG missed the game before. So they've been resting off and on in these spots. I think Kawhi is still listed as questionable in this game. He has not been officially ruled in, even though his props are up. I would expect him to play in this spot. This is the 6th game in 10 nights for the Clippers as well. So not the greatest spot for the Clippers. Head-to-head, the last 3 games have gone under. We know that both of these teams can play really, really good defense. I will say that Boston's defense kind of hinges on whether Porzingis is in or out, in my estimation, just by looking at the numbers. So Boston defense improves a ton with KP on the floor. They're giving up 113 points without him and 108 points with them. They're 5-2 to the over without him. And the games where he plays, they're actually 11-9 to the under. And it's been a nice little sample size here because Porzingis did miss some extended time early this season. Also, when I was looking into those numbers, their 3-point defense actually gets a lot worse. I want to say that they're allowing teams to shoot 35% from the 3-point line with Porzingis on the floor. When Porzingis is not on the floor, teams are shooting 40% from 3. And we know that the Clippers want to run and gun. They want to get up and down the floor, even though they have been a really solid defensive team. I got the Clippers as 8-3 straight up in home games with Harden in. They're winning those games by an average of 6 points. They're 7-3-1 to the under in those spots, including 5-1 versus teams with the winning record as well. With Tatum back in, which is what I'm thinking, and Kawhi being back in, I do kind of lean towards the Clippers in this spot. I think Boston potentially having a look-ahead spot on Christmas Day to the game versus the Lakers. Also, they're coming off a win. You got the Clippers coming off a loss to Oklahoma City. And Boston, like I said, they won that game against the Kings and got that bad taste out of their mouth, against the Golden State Warriors after losing their overtime. So I do kind of lean towards the Clippers in this spot. The market isn't necessarily agreeing with me here, but I think Boston could have a look at. I also just don't like taking Boston against really good teams when they don't have Porzingis. I think that they really need Porzingis a lot. I mean, Derek White's still going to be out there shooting threes. You still going to have Peyton Pritchard coming in off the bench. Al Horford kind of looks like a shell of himself at time, but they do have other serviceable guys. Sam Hauser, you still got O'Shea Brissett coming off the bench. But I think if everybody's ruled in, I like the Clippers in this spot. Let's just put it like that. And if they're going to be plus points at the crib, I'm probably going to be looking towards the Clippers in this spot. And I didn't really look into any player props in this game. Let me see what you guys are talking about here. Young Crody says the same thing I says. He says Clippers as dogs at home. Tony mentioned what I mentioned. He says 2 days off in LA. What could go wrong? 2 days off in LA when you're from Boston and it's probably like 28 degrees outside, but you're in LA and it's probably like 60. Tasha says this is a hard game. I can't bet against Boston. Yeah, I think it is difficult to bet against Boston, and one of the reasons why I haven't done so. But if you're gonna fade Boston, do it without Porzingis. Porzingis means that he makes the world of a difference for sure. Matt says Tatum to go under his points today and taking the over for him against the Lakers. Okay. Derek said, God damn, it's 13 games today. Let's get it, Chris. What up, though? What up, Derek? Appreciate you for tapping in as well, man. Brian says it's been raining like mad in LA. Doesn't mean you can't have fun. That's a fact. Tariq says I like the Knicks and the Clippers in the early games. I don't really have a side. I think the Bucks could still get it done. I just don't want to back them on, traveling from road to home after all of those soft cupcake opponents that they've been playing. The Knicks should be motivated, especially off, they got the early start time, revenge game for them as well. But I don't like the spot for them. First game back home after 5-game road trip. And all of those games were played on the West Coast outside of the last one against the Brooklyn Nets. So I don't like that spot as much. I think that they've been playing against some pretty bad teams as well. The Nets have looked like a shell of themselves lately. And the Lakers, I'm not sure what they're doing. And they just couldn't make a 3 in that game the other day. Raptors fan says, I'm leaning Jason Tatum over his 4.5 assists at plus 115 on FanDuel. I think that could be a really good look here, Raptors fan. In these high leverage games, Tatum typically finds his guys. But you just worry about Boston, shooting too many threes, man. Like the one thing that's different from, and I'll say this and then I'll keep it moving. One thing different from this Boston team, from this Clipper team that they're playing today, and that Kings team, the Kings can't guard anybody. The way the Kings win games is they get hot from the 3-point line and they end up like just running you out the gym for a period of time. They also revert back, then they stop hitting threes, and you see that lead come back from 29 last night all the way. I want to say the Suns got it all the way down to like 10 or like 9 or something like that. And then you see Coach Mike Brown have to call a couple timeouts. So that's the difference. The Clippers are going to play defense. The Kings don't guard anybody. They're not really a good defensive team. Justin mentioning what I mentioned. He said he's on the Clippers. And I didn't take the Clippers, but that is the way that I would look in this spot. DJX says I'm looking at Tatum over 15 in the first half. He likes Tatum to come out and have a fast start. Couldn't talk you off there either. All right, let's go Magic. Let's go Pacers. So I actually like this game. This is on my short list. Haven't bet it yet, but I do kind of like this game. So injury-wise, we do need to – this is a game that's going to be influenced by the injury report. The Magic and the Pacers. This game is so Magic actually opened – I want to say they opened as – let me just check and see what that initial line was. So Pacers were laying 1.5. They still laying 1.5. The total come down just a tad bit. It opened at 243. So it opened at 244. You see it down to 243. I think, man, I know it's not necessarily the most popular thing to take the under in Pacers games, but they're running out of gas, man. Like they've been really, really bad fatigue spots, and they're in a real bad fatigue spot here. So this is the cap on the game. So Jalen Suggs is questionable, him and Joe Ingles on the Orlando side. On the Indiana side, Halliburton is still questionable as well. And Jalen Smith, I want to say he banged. I don't know what he did in the last game, but I know he got hurt in that game when they were playing against the Memphis Grizzlies the other day. So Holly being questionable, Jalen Smith being questionable. Of course you need to know that news before you play anything in this game. Orlando 5-8 on the road. They've lost 4 straight, even though they did cover in that spread in the last one against the Bucks. 3rd game in 4 nights for them here, and they've actually kind of regressed just a tad bit. This team has not looked good in their most recent games. Indy losers of 5 of their last 6, with the only win actually coming against the Hornets. So I don't know how much credit we want to give them for that. They've also failed to cover each of those games as well. This is the 3rd game in 4 nights for them. That's the reason why I came back Indy in this spot. 7th game in 11 days. This is a terrible fatigue spot. So this is when teams go under. This is when you see, shots start to be a little bit short, right? And I'm just telling you guys so you know, don't bet I'm not betting a whole bunch of overs in this spot today. Head to head, this is a revenge game for Indy. They got smoked 128-116 back on November 19. They were at home as 4.5-point favorites. Orlando came in there, cleaned them up early. I'm talking about they cashed the trifecta. It was first quarter, first half, and full game. They never looked back in that spot. I like Orlando in this spot, man. I know it's not going to be a popular play because they're on the road. I didn't play them yet. I want to see how it kind of fizzled out. I'm not sure if I will get there. And if I do, it'll probably be something light. I won't go super crazy at all. But I think Orlando plus the points is the right side in this game. All 4 straight losses. And like I said, it's a terrible fatigue spot for the Indiana Pacers. They kind of ran out of gas in their last few games. They did it against the Clippers. They did it against the Grizzlies. This team, I'm not saying that their offense isn't still super elite, because it is whenever you got Halliburton out there. But you gotta look into looking deep into these games. The Pacers are not in a good spot today. When you play 7 games in your last 11 days, it's only right that you start to go under. And I was looking at it. Their offensive rating, they were the top offensive rated team. Their offensive rating over the last 5 games is like 18th. And we know that the Magic, they can come in here and play a little bit defense. So I do like Orlando in this spot plus the points, and that's the only way I would be looking to play this one. Of course, if I like Orlando, I'm going to be looking at Paolo. I'm going to be looking at Franz Wagner props. Those are the guys that are going to, probably play, who are going to have to perform in this spot. Because Orlando is still, kind of undermanned right now. They're trying to work Wendell Carter Jr. back into the rotation. I think he played like 19 to 20 minutes. And they'll need him in this spot as well. But I think Orlando can still get the job done, man. Like I said, I know it's a revenge game, and Indy is coming off a loss, but that's the way I'm kind of looking at the game. Brian says Magic first half and full game. So we got some more love. I didn't think people would like Orlando today. Raptors fan mentioned what I mentioned. He says Paulo Banchero over his 23.5 points. Do power forwards continue to dominate the Pacers? We'll see. I know he played good in that first game as well, Raptors fan. I could not talk you off looking at Paulo. Brian says Pacers struggle against the Magic defense. I would agree there. Boss Hog says, what's up, Chris? Let's cash. I got a 2-unit play on the Dolphins -1.5 in the NFL. Got two more, but still got a few more things to research before you lock in. Hey, best of luck, Boss Hog. Hope you cash it, my brother. I didn't touch that NFL game, but I did do an NFL show yesterday, and I got a couple NFL looks as well. Not gonna get into them today just because this NBA card is so big. But best of luck, my brother. Appreciate you for tapping in. Happy holidays to you, and I hope you get some Christmas cash, my brother. Let's go to the next game. We got Nuggets and we got Hornets. So this spread actually, there we go. Hold on, no, I'm tripping. I thought the line was moving in my favor. Damn. All right, never mind. All right, so we got Nuggets, we got Hornets. Let me take a sip of water real quick before I get this break there. So this line opened at 7.5 in favor of Denver. Excuse me. Opened at 7.5 in favor of Denver. It's all the way up to 9.5 at some books. I actually see 8.5. Look like the consensus is 8.5 now, and that's actually happened since the show started. Total really hasn't moved a lot. It's up to 220. It's down to 227. 226.5, but it opened at 227. So not a lot of movement here. I do agree with the total going, dropping under in this spot though. So looking at Denver, last game of a 3-game road trip, they actually host Golden State on Christmas. So potential look ahead spot, right? Especially when you're coming off 2 wins already. We know Denver just won last night in Brooklyn, so not a lot of travel from Brooklyn to Charlotte. And then before that, they actually won in Toronto as well. So that could definitely be a look ahead spot here. Not saying that it will be. Coming off a win, like I said last night, and they covered by 0.5 point last night against the Brooklyn Nets. They were 4.5 point favorites. They won that game by 5. They're 5-2 straight up, 5-2 to the under in road games where Jamal Murray, Jokic, and Aaron Gordon all play. I think, looking at this game, it's not a big motivation spot, of course, if you're the Denver Nuggets, right? You've already beat the Toronto Raptors. You've already beat the Brooklyn Nets. And now you get to play against the Charlotte Hornets before Christmas. They probably thinking about Christmas gifts. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. They probably like, man, I can't wait to get home. I'm not trying to be in Charlotte. So I'm not sure how motivated they'd be in this spot. But what I will tell you guys is if they do play, if all three of those guys play, because the other part of the cap is this. Denver, if we look at where they are in the Eastern Conference in the Western Conference, remember last year they kind of got off to a fast start and then they kind of coasted throughout. Denver can't really, they haven't been able to really do that right now. And I'm not saying that they're, I still think that they're going to win the game, of course, but Denver is not the best team in the Western Conference right now. Denver's actually the third best team in the Western Conference because Minnesota 21-6, Oklahoma City 18-8. Denver's actually 20-10. So Denver does still need to stack up wins. The only reason I would say that their starters might potentially play in this spot, and I do expect them to play, is because they still need to stack up these wins, and they haven't really played together in a while. So going back to the cap, 5-2 straight up are the Denver Nuggets, 5-2 to the under in road games when they have their full allotment of guys. That's games with Jamal Murray, Jokic, and Aaron Gordon in. This is the back to back. This is also a third game in 4 nights as well. Charlotte, this is something that I looked at. I thought was interesting. Charlotte is 0-7 straight up, 2-5 against the spread, losing by an average of 19 points per game in 7 games where both LaMelo and Mark Williams are not in the game. They're averaging 102 points per game in this spot. So the reason why I added Mark Williams is because, defensively, he can rebound the ball. He can, alter shots. He can, block shots. So without both of those guys in, it's not a spot you necessarily want to back Charlotte in. And I would agree with the line movement getting a little bit bigger. I'm not laying 8.5 points with Denver on the road in an unmotivated spot, especially because they've won 2 games already. But I do think the game goes under. I grabbed Charlotte team total last night. I want to say I grabbed it at, what was the number that I gave out? I want to say it was 109.5. I just kind of gave you guys the numbers. They're averaging 102 points per game in this spot. So I do like this team total to go under. I also played the full game under 226.5 as well. Both just half unit plays. I'm not going to go super crazy because I think the injury report could, affect this game. But I went half unit on both. Denver, Charlotte under 226.5, expecting the line to kind of move down a little bit. And Charlotte, I think that they struggle to score no matter who plays for Denver. If Denver decides to sit somebody, I think, they still got guys that's going to come in off the bench. DeAndre Jordan, Peyton Watson, Christian Braun. Those guys are really good defenders. So under 109.5, I think for Charlotte is still good money either way if they rest players or not. But I did go half unit on both of those plays, and that's the way I'm kind of looking at this game. Under 226.5 and Charlotte team total under 109.5 as well. Let me see what you guys are thinking about in this game. Nobody got thoughts in this game. Brian, only person, he says I like Denver trifecta. He said they have the better defense and better three-point shooters. But you're right, motivation. Yeah, that's the thing that kind of talked me off of this one. Dante says Nuggets first half. He says that the Hornets are the worst offensive rated offense. They are. Last 5 games, they absolutely are. I looked at that as well, Dante. Just won't trying to beat a dead horse. He says Nuggets top 10 in offense and top 5 in defense. That is a fact. That is a fact, Dante. I just worry about motivation, man. I worry about motivation. But I think when the smoke clears and the dust settles, I don't think the Charlotte Hornets will have 110 points. I don't care if they come out like the Raptors did yesterday and scored 37 in the first quarter. I don't think that they're going to have 110 at the end of the game. And I do think that, I was looking at pace stuff as well. And I was looking at, so the game yesterday with the Brooklyn Nets went over. When the Denver Nuggets go over in a game on the road and then their next game is on the road, they typically go under. That was a really strong trend that I looked at as well. That kind of influenced me to back this play. So those are my 2 plays in this spot. Appreciate y'all for dropping y'all looks here. Hit the like button for me if you guys join late. I'm trying to get through every single game, trying to do it as quickly as possible. We got a lot of games left, but I'm going to give you guys what I'm looking at before we get up off here. So next game up, we got Rockets, we got Pelicans. Houston. Tari Eason listed as questionable. Also, Reggie Bullock also listed as questionable. Zion on the opposite side, we know he missed the last game with an illness. He's listed as questionable. And Cody Zeller missed that game with an illness as well. So Houston, we backed them last night. Well, we didn't. We backed their defense last night. They're 2-10 straight up on the road, 3-0 to the over, playing unrested. So in the second leg of a back-to-back, the defense has absolutely been not what you wanted to back. Each opponent have gone over their team total by at least 8 points, with 2 of them actually going over by 20 points in this spot. The Rockets have lost 4 of their last 10 games by average of 9 points and more, or 9 points or more, and have only covered 3 of their 10 losses. I know we backed them last night. It was a really good spot for them against Dallas. This is not the greatest spot for them here. This is a super fatigue spot for them here in this spot, even though they didn't play all their full guys the full allotment of minutes because they were winning by margin and didn't have to play them a lot in the fourth quarter. But I'm looking at the Pelicans side, right? And I haven't gotten there to the window with this one. I do want Zion to be in. But it's kind of telling, and I guess I should have jumped on it. I guess it is still 6.5 out there as well. It's a fatigue spot, man. The Pelicans, 9-5 at the crib, 10-4 against the spread at home, 6 game in 10 days for them. They do have a quick revenge game the day after Christmas against the Memphis Grizzlies. We know what happened in that game. They just gave up that 24-point lead that they had in the second quarter. I'm looking at the Pelicans, 4-1 straight up and against the spread as a home favorite, returning from a road game. So typically they don't let up off the gas in this spot. They're 5-2 straight up and against the spread, facing an unrested opponent as well. Pelicans also 7-3 last 10 games, but Houston did beat them 104-101 on November 10th earlier this season. So you got a revenge game here as well. Another major factor here for Houston, like I said, 7th game in 11 days for them. And they played an overtime game in there when they went to Cleveland as well. Second leg of a back-to-back and third game in 4 nights as well. I got a huge trend that says fade the Houston Rockets in this spot tonight. So it was something. Just think about this. I'm just giving you guys some perspective. So a team that has a winning record. So this is since 2016. A team that has a winning record. They were previously favored by 7 points or more. Houston was 8.5-point favorites last night. So favorites of 7 points or more in your last line, but now you open as a 6-point dog and you have no rest. And you had to change sites. So wherever you played at yesterday, you didn't play again today. Those teams are 4-19 straight up, 7-16 against the number. So 70% trend says to take the over. 59% says trend says take the over. 70% trend says to take the Pelicans in this spot. I just need Zion in. If Zion's ruled in, I probably will get here. I do agree with the line coming up to 7. Like I said, we made money last night with the Houston Rockets, and I think we fade them in this spot. Here. So Pelicans are nothing for me. Like I said, I need Zion to be in. I want Cody Zeller to be in. Maybe even Pelicans first half too, because what I wrote in my notes was the Pelicans, when they win games at the crib, they're plus 14 in the first half. I know, you typically want to fade the team for the full game because that's when they run out of gas. But the Pelicans, like I said, a plus 14 in the first half of the games that they win at home, and they're -1 in the second half of games that they win at home. So they typically come out. They've been one of the best first half teams in the association. Them, the 76ers, the Oklahoma City Thunder, of course. Those have been the really, really, stout first half teams. Also, didn't lock this one in yet, but it did kind of catch my attention. I talked a little bit about Jalen Green yesterday, man. I like Jalen Green a lot. I talked about it yesterday. But his points prop 17.5 at -115 on BetMGM. Jalen Green looks like a shell of himself. I know he has a couple really good games against this Pelicans team last year. He had one good game against them also this year. But Jalen Green, I think, is somebody that we can start to fade, man. Second leg of a back-to-back. Also, like I said, 7 game in 11 days. This dude is actually going under his 17.5 points in 7 straight games and 9 of his last 11 as well. So I might end up getting there with fading Jalen Green in this spot today. We know that the Pelicans are a really stout defensive team, and they could potentially get ran off the floor in this spot. Pelicans have been a really, really good team since they've really gotten everybody back together. So outside of the mental laugh that they had against the Memphis Grizzlies, they were up 24 points in that game, and of course no show because they were partying a little bit too hard in Vegas against the Lakers. But outside of those 2 games specifically, this team has looked really, really good. I lean Pelicans, even with the number going up to 7. You probably can still get a 6.5 out there somewhere. And I think, at the least, what you do is you take the Pelicans team total to go over. Also, favorite player prop would be Jalen Green under 17.5 points. And I mentioned Trey Murphy. If Zion doesn't play for whatever reason, I do think you got to continue to ride the Trey Murphy train. This dude has been absolute money, especially when he gets the increased usage. So I didn't play him last game. I heavily leaned towards him, of course, but didn't play him. But that's the way I would kind of look at this game. Let me see what you guys are talking about in the chat on this one. We'll keep it moving. Dream, my God, Dream went crazy last night, man. I saw you, Dream. Big shout out to Dream, man. Keep grinding, my brother. Dream making all the Christmas money, man. He had a couple blunt money bets last night. He says, "What's the vibes? Hit the like, y'all. Appreciate you, Dream." Dante says Pelicans #1 defense and top 10 offense in the first half. Rockets bottom 10 defense last 5 games. Yeah, I think you just gotta follow. You gotta notice the trends, man. You gotta notice the trends in this one. I think Dante, you got the trends, man. Brian says, do you think New Orleans would be a good money line parlay with another team? Absolutely. I'm probably not doing any money line parlay. Man, actually, the card big enough. You could do some money line parlays. Yeah, I think they absolutely could be a money line parlay. I think they could cover the spread as well. Itachi says can only look at the Rockets at home. Pels all day in this spot. So Itachi I know Itachi be having the trends, man. He also likes the Pels in this spot as well. You just need I need Zion in, but I do think they get it done. Remember, the Rockets are just 2-10 on the road, and they're on the second leg of a back-to-back. So yeah. LA says, for those that don't know, the like button is in the same place on Saturday. Smash it. Hey, I appreciate that, LA. Definitely hit the like button for me if you guys enjoy the show, man. I'm probably gonna be hoarse by the time I get done with the show because there's so much talking to do. Raptors fan says, I'll take Jalen Green under his points today until he goes over all day, every day. I think it's a really good look, Raptors fan. We got 2 plays in this game out of 1, man. Buffalo says he had a dream. I hit a 20-team parlay last night. You probably woke up trying to check your account, logging into that online banking. I like it, Buffalo. What's up, Markel? Appreciate you for tapping in as well. He says he just joined. Let's cash. Let's get back to the games, man. Let's get back to the game. So next game up, we got Pistons and we got Nets. So Pistons on the road in this game, of course. They just lost to the Jazz. I don't know how you're gonna get it done versus the Nets. If you can't beat the Jazz, especially with the Nets, off losses. I don't have a lot for this game. What I will tell you guys is that the Nets have really, really struggled recently. It's not the greatest spot for the Nets either. They're in one of those super fatigue spots. I want to say this is the 7th game for them in their last 11 days as well. Let me check real quick. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8th game for them in the last 9 days. I'm sorry, 8th game for them in the last what is that? 11. I think it's the last 11 days for them as well. It could be a spot where this is what I think happens. I think the game goes under. I think Detroit relies a little bit more on their defense. I know that they didn't play much defense yesterday, but they were playing against a Denver team. That game did go over, but I think Brooklyn could potentially run out of gas in this spot. I honestly think Detroit, I know it's crazy. I think Detroit could cover the 9.5 today. Not win the game. I don't think that they're going to win a game for I'm not sure when they're going to win, but I do think that they could cover the 9.5. I think the game goes under. I really, really do. I was looking at some trends in this spot last night. You got to remember, Brooklyn has lost. They've lost 5 games in a row. They haven't covered any of those spreads. They lost to Denver in Denver, Golden State, Utah. That was the end of the 3-game road trip. And then, of course, they lost to the Knicks when they came back home, and they've also lost to Denver. So this is potential get right spot for them. They shoot too many threes, and the Detroit Pistons turn the ball over too much for me to go under on this game. But I do think that 233 is a lot of points in this spot. I think Brooklyn could run out of gas just because of the spot that they're in. This is a 3rd game in 4 nights, and like I said, it's a second leg of a back-to-back as well. But I think that they rely on their defense. I think the under is the best spot in this game. Like I said, a lot of trends kind of pointed me towards the under. I think, whatever you want to do with this game, best of luck, man. I'm not looking to back Detroit at all, but I could see them getting the 9.5 seems a little rich, and I think they could potentially lose here by 6 to 7 points and kind of keep this one close. But those are just my thoughts. I didn't really, do a lot of deep diving in this game. I don't really want to. The Nets aren't giving you anything to really back recently. 5 straight games, 5 straight losses, and 5 straight non-covers. Now I'm asking them to win by 10 when they were, catching 4.5 points yesterday. I just don't like the spot here. Could be a player prop type game. I did see that Durham went through practice yesterday and he was upgraded to doubtful. I don't think he's going to play in this spot, but maybe potentially looking at Durham in this spot. I'm sorry, maybe potentially waiting until Durham comes back to back Detroit. I kind of gave you guys the numbers, and I'm not looking to back Detroit until they get Durham back because they need a rebounder. Let's see. Tasha says Pistons, hell to the no. Brian says Cunningham points and assists. The only reason I would say no, Brian, even though King has been balling, only reason I would say no is because, like I said, I think the game goes under. I don't like to take a lot of player props on the over if I think the game goes under. But don't let me talk you off, man. Do not let me talk you off. Justin says the Pistons probably going to come out today here and beat the Nets. He said they're going to win eventually, right? Laugh out loud. They are going to win eventually, Justin. I'm not sure when it's going to be, man. So this is the thing, right? As much as the Pistons want to win, and I keep talking about this, as much as the Pistons want to win, we got to look at it from the opposite side as well. Do you want to be the team that the Pistons beat, right? Like some of these spots are so historic and they live on for such a long time, right? I know as a kid, like being in like 6th grade, 7th grade, I vividly remember Kobe outscoring the Dallas Mavericks, right? I vividly remember who was on those Maverick teams, right? You don't want it, like he was a first player through 3 quarters to outscore a whole team, right? I vividly remember Kobe scoring 81 points against Jalen Rose in Toronto. I vividly remember the players that were on that team. You don't want to be one of these teams that where like so it's a highly motivated spot for both sides, is what I'm saying. You don't the Brooklyn Nets are not going to want to let no team is going to want to let, oh man, you know what? We were the first team that lost. I do think that they could cover. I don't know if they can win, though. I think, talent-wise, it's a big separation gap. If you couldn't beat Obagi and, Chris Dunn, it's going to be hard beating Dorian Finney-Smith, Cam Johnson, Cam Thomas, Mikal Bridges, Nicholas Claxton. I can't. Nah. Colin, I think this could be a good look. He says, thoughts on Claxton over his 2.5 blocks. A system play for me with a great spot. Blockers versus Pistons. They gave up the most blocks to centers by far. They give up the most blocks to centers by far. And Claxton has been playing well with 4-4-4 and 3 in his last 4 games. I think this could be the spot, Colin. I know a lot of people who cashed on Walker Kessler the other day. Kessler went over his blocks, and I want to say his number was 1.5 or maybe 2.5. So yeah, that could be the look in this game, man. Maybe just look at I'm gonna actually write that down. Maybe just look at Nicholas Claxton on his blocks. I don't think that's a bad look at all. You stay away from the side, stay away from the spread, all that good stuff, and just think Claxton gonna come out here and do what Detroit is allowing teams to do anyway, which is get their shot blocked. So I couldn't talk you off here. Matt says bounce back game for the Nets. Bridges and Cam need to step up for them to cover. I would agree there. Jimmy says, just joined, Chris. Good morning. At work making money and still got to check in. Let's get it. Appreciate you for tapping in even from work, Jimmy. Best of luck, man, on your action today, and happy holidays to you as well, my brother. So those are my thoughts on the game, man. Like I said, I sneakily lean towards the Pistons being able to cover in this spot. Definitely not putting my hard-earned money on that a couple days before Christmas. And I also think that the total is too high. I think this 233 is a tad bit too high. I think this game goes under. And the total actually dropping now, 232.5. So I think it goes under. I think the Pistons could cover, not betting it. And I think that play by Nicholas Claxton is a really good look as well over his blocks in this game. Next game up, we got Jazz, we got Raptors. This game will be played in Toronto, back in the 6 in the north, as my guy, as my Toronto Raptors fans would say. So injury report wise, for the Jazz, marketing and Yurt 7 they should return. They both listed as probable. Keontae George is listed as out. He's not going to play in this game. And they could potentially get Tyler Horton Tucker back in this spot as well. He's listed as questionable. This line actually started to move, right? Yeah, so 5.5 was the number. It's up to 6 now. It's up to 6 in some spots. It is still at 5 in some places as well. And the total did go up from 230.5 to 232. This is a game where the Jazz, I know that the Raptors are not in y'all know how I feel about the Raptors if you've been watching the show. I don't like the Raptors at all. It's a team that took my money again yesterday in the first half, scored 37 points, but they're extremely inconsistent. I want to say they scored like 30, like 20 points, 13 points in the fourth quarter. You can't like really trust this team. But on the opposite side, you can't trust the Jazz either. I know that they coming off a really good win against Detroit the other night. They said, no, not on us. Detroit not beating us. But this is a bad spot, even worse of a travel fatigue spot for the Jazz, even more so than the Raptors. The Raptors will have to fly. They had to fly back home last night from Philly. The Jazz were also probably already in Toronto, but this is not a good spot for the Jazz. This is a third game in 4 nights for them. Also one of those really, really bad fatigue spots. 7th game in 11 days for the Utah Jazz. Third game of a 5-game road trip for them as well. And they could be a little fat and happy just because, as my guy Jay Money always say, they could be a little fat and happy because they got the win against Detroit. What I looked at in this spot, so this is going to be super ugly, like one of those plays where I'm probably not going to play it, but I just here to share the information like I always am. And if I was going to play this when I close my eyes, hold my nose, and hit the button. So unrested home favorites, that's what Toronto is, since the 2018 season, to have a losing record. Toronto is not a winning team this year. Those teams are 45, 25, and 1 against the spread since the 2018 season. So say that one more time. Since 2018, unrested, because this is the second leg of a back-to-back, unrested home favorites that have a losing record. This team does not have a winning record, but they are favored on the second leg of a back-to-back. They're 45, 25, and 1 against the spread. 64% says that Toronto covers the spread today. I didn't play it, but that's what I'm giving you guys. That's what I'm giving you guys. So yeah, it's Raptors or nothing for me here. And that's you got to record me. You got to record that because I'm never riding with the Raptors. But the play says take the Raptors. They say it's a bad travel fatigue spot, and I gave you guys the numbers on the trend as well for unrested home favorites that also have a losing record. Those teams still win and cover at a 64% clip since over the last the last 5 years. So that's what I got for you guys there. Siakam had a really good game last night, so could be Scotty Barnes' game tonight. I don't really know what to do with this team, man. Let's see what you guys have here. Justin says you definitely are right about that. Nobody wants to be that team to lose to an almost 30 straight loss team. Yeah, you got to look at it from both sides, Justin. You got to look at it from, Detroit wants to lose, but do you want to be the team Detroit loses to? Like, nobody wants to be remembered as that team. It's in the era of social media, man. It's gonna be so many pictures and posters and memes and gifs about you. Yeah, nah. Do not want to be that guy. Raptors fan says Raptors money line. He says my guys need a bounce back win. If you can't beat this Jazz team, then I don't know what to think about my Raptors. And that's a fact. We know that the Raptors are not a good road team. We've been kind of fading them all season long on the road. They actually lost to the Cavs the other day, and the Cavs weren't even whole. If we remember that game, the Jazz are 3-13 straight up on the road now, even with that win against Detroit the other day, just 5-11 against the number as well. So I do lean Raptors in this spot. I think they can get it done. Just didn't bet them. Maybe a potential money line spot. Maybe this is what you parlay with with the Pelicans if you don't want to take the spread. Maybe Raptors and Pelicans money line parlay as a little home favorite. Reduce the juice type thing. Jimmy says Raptors here. Raptors always win when everyone is off them from a previous game. I'll be on the Raptors here. Don't forget how bad the Jazz are on the road, Chris. That's a fact. Just kind of talked about it. Tachi says, I know the Raptors been trash, but they got to be better than this version of the Jazz. I would agree. I think that they are. Even with Lauri Markkanen back, they got Len. They got man, I can't talk good about the Raptors, but just know that they're in a good spot, man. Just know that they're in a good spot. Tariq says, I can't with the Raptors. I need a stress-free weekend. I agree, man. I agree. That's why I didn't bet it. I'm just here to kind of give you guys the insight. If I'm betting the game, I'm betting the Raptors, though. And maybe it's a Raptors team total to go over it. That's where you don't have to really necessarily worry about the spread. Buffalo says same game parlay, Raptors first half, full game money line at -105 odds. That could be it, Buffalo. Now you're making 2 bets on the Raptors, though. And as inconsistent as they are, that's the only part that would scare me. But I understand your logic behind it. Raptors first half full game. Colin says Raptors fan. Thoughts on Dennis Schroeder over his assists? Really another system play, point guards assist versus Utah. That absolutely has been cashing, Colin. Absolutely has been cashing outside of Craig Porter Jr. the other day when we took him at 8+ at plus 135. I think a lot of other point guards have been cashing the number. Cade Cunningham had a double-double with 10 assists the other day, so could absolutely see that as well. Okay, let's keep going. 77 figures. We'll get back to that game in a second. Next game up. Let's go back into it. We got a couple more games to get through. We actually still got a lot of games. We got Grizzlies and we got Hawks. So let's see. This line was moving. I saw it moving when I peeked over. It's down to a pick pretty much everywhere. Total dropping from 240.5, what it opened at, down to 237.5. I low-key kind of agree with the movement there. It's really difficult to play unders in Hawks games. They did go under last night against against the Miami Heat. They lost that game as well. So let's get to the notes on that one. This is going to be, let's see. I thought that it would be, so yeah, super, we can call it a public play. The money is on the Memphis Grizzlies in this spot. They opened as a pick, and they were 1-point favorites last night. I did play the Memphis Grizzlies in this spot. It's a big fade of the Atlanta Hawks. This team has been, and I talked about it yesterday. Somebody gave out the line yesterday, and I said that I was already kind of looking into the game. So injury-wise, Memphis, they could potentially get Marcus Smart back, but I don't think he's going to play. He's listed as doubtful. On top of the foot injury that he had been kind of lingering with, he also is dealing with an illness as well. So I don't know if he's going to play in this spot. Atlanta, they could potentially get DeAndre Hunter back in this spot. He's listed as questionable. He didn't play in that loss yesterday against Miami. So Memphis, since Ja Morant's return, I know it's only been 2 games, but they're the 6th-rated defensive team, the number 1 rebounding team in the league in those last 2 games. They're playing versus and they've actually been playing against 2 playoff contending teams. We got to remember, they beat the Pelicans and they beat the Indiana Pacers. Their effective field goal percentage is 8th in the last 2 games at 58%. But throughout the first 25 games, they were the 29th rated offensive team. So that's the Ja Morant effect. They're starting to shoot the ball a little bit better. They're starting to take better shots. Ja Morant's throwing alley-oops at the rim. He's putting a lot of pressure on the defense, getting downhill, and then finding his guys. They get an Atlanta team and another really bad travel spot here. This is the Atlanta. Not only did Atlanta on the second leg of a back-to-back with travel from Miami to Atlanta, which is not a lot, but this is the 7th game in 11 days. Major fatigue spot. All different gyms for this Atlanta Hawks team. Atlanta, bottom 5 rated team last 2 games since I just kind of looked at since the Ja Morant thing. They're also 1-3 straight up and against the spread as home dogs, and 4-0 to the over in this spot as well. Not that Atlanta really wants to lose, but Memphis needs this win in the West. We got to remember, Memphis is in the 13th spot in the Western Conference. They got a lot of ground to make up if they want to make the playoffs, and they're talking about wanting to make the playoffs. So for me, I looked at the fatigue spot. It's a 73.1% money line spot in this spot for me for fading the Atlanta Hawks. I know that the game's coming back down to a pick, so you probably can get an even better number, but I got it at -110 for them to win the game by 1. And I'm not sure why that news is that, why the line went back down, but I'm trusting my play. Y'all know I don't really look at the number. It don't waver my confidence one way or another. As long as the injury report is not being manipulated and I don't see anybody else on the injury report, I think Ja plays in this game. And that's really all I need outside of everybody else, of course. I need Ja to play in this game. And as long as Ja plays in this game, I'm cool with that. But Memphis is the one, probably my top look of the day. It's the one play that I actually put a full unit on. Everything else I went kind of light on just because it is Christmas. These players are humans just like us. They probably, not probably running out, not out grabbing late Christmas presents, but they are coordinating, Christmas parties and, sending money here and trying to, take care of the last minute things for their families as well. So they could not potentially be super locked in this spot. And that's why I didn't want to go super hard on this card today. But Memphis, top play for me in this spot. Let me see what you guys are on in the chat. Let's see. Colin says Utah gives up the most blocks and third most threes to the small forward position. Scotty blocks 1.5 and threes 1.5. Could be a great game for him. I would agree there. Raptors fan says, I love Schroeder assist today for sure. So we got some love there. Kirby says, let's get the money, man. Appreciate you, Kirby. He says he likes Brunson 40 and Giannis for 50 in the early game. Brian says, can you look at the third quarter Memphis with Ja? They smashed third quarters going back to last year. Just curious. It's something I'll look at. I'll look into that, Brian. Third quarter for Memphis with Ja Morant in. Let's see. Ja in third quarter Memphis. And I'm going to just look at it on the road too. Away, home. I wrote that down. I'll get back to that, Brian. I'll get back to that for sure. And you're a member, so maybe I'll put it in the membership. Brian says he got +1, like it, and thinking about third quarter. Dante says Memphis first quarter. Since Ja's return, they're +39 net rating in the first quarter. Appreciate the Canadian dollars here, Buffalo. Always appreciate the donos and the tips, man. What's up, VC? Appreciate you for tapping in as well. Let's see. Jamrock says Memphis first quarter is way better at home. That's what I was thinking, Jamrock. That's why I said I look at it at home versus on the road as well. Okay. All right, cool. So not a lot of opinions on this game. I know I'm doing the show pretty early. A lot of people probably haven't even had a chance to cap the games, but like I said, I did this last night. Try to get the work done. Because after I do this, man, I got a lot of stuff to do for the day. I'm not going to be able to, probably won't even be able to look at that first game. So I just wanted to kind of get the show out the way for today and wanted to clear my thoughts. Jalen Suggs is listed as out. He's not going to play today. Joe Ingles also ruled out today. We're going to see what that Halliburton news look like here soon. Yeah, Suggs is out. I just saw that as well, Jamrock. Shout out to Coach Mosley again, man. Always giving us the injury news early, super early. Gotta love that, man. Gotta love that. Not playing around with the injury report. All right, let's keep going. We got a lot more games to get into still. Next game up, we got Cavs, we got Bulls. Man. We got Cavs, we got Bulls. This line opened at 5. It's down to 4.5 in favor of the Chicago Bulls. The total opened at 219.5. It's down to 216. I'm glad I didn't play this one. And it's kind of conflicting on both sides. I'll tell you guys what I was looking at. So Cleveland, they will be extremely short-handed. No Donovan Mitchell, no Evan Mobley, no Garland, of course. And Sam Merrill, who went crazy from the three-point line the other day for this team, is also listed as questionable. So they could be extremely short-handed on the offensive side. You still got guys out there like Karis LeVert. You still got Jared Allen. You still got Porter. This team is not the team. This is not the Cleveland Cavalier team, though, that we all, thought that we were going to see at this time of the year. Because Donovan Mitchell got ruled out with that illness yesterday while we were doing the live show. Cleveland, 4 straight overs. They're actually 6-1 to the over when Donovan Mitchell is not in the lineup. I think that's pretty crazy and pretty telling. They're playing at a much faster pace and shooting a ton of threes without those guys being in as well. 5th game in 8 nights for Cleveland, and they're bottom 10 defensively last 3 games without their star players. Chicago, not in the greatest spots because they've been traveling everywhere and, winning games left and right. For Chicago, I don't think I wrote this one down. Let me just check real quick. We know that they've been balling without Zach LaVine. Chicago, they've played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 games in the last 10 days for Chicago as well. I still got to look towards Chicago in this spot. I think I want to say, let me just check real quick. I want to say that Chicago is on my short list. Chicago team total over is actually on my short list. Looking at the Bulls, 9-1, ATS last 10, hottest team in the league right now. Without Zach LaVine, they continue to just be money makers. The Bulls team total is another way that I was looking in this spot, and that was just based off a lot of numbers that I was looking at. So real quick, I just want to get you guys the number because it might have come down just a tad bit just because the total keep coming down. 216.5 is a very, very low number, and I don't think it's necessarily these teams could run out of gas, but I think we see pace in this game. I don't think we see a lot of defense either, especially around this is a game that I think could potentially be, like one of those games that's influenced by being, around Christmas time. I expect Charlotte to run out of gas. I mean, not Charlotte. I expect Cleveland to run out of gas. And that could potentially not get up and over. But I think Chicago at 110.5, I think that's the best play in this game. Chicago team total, and I'll tell you guys why, but I'm glad I waited on this one. Team total over 110.5, I think would be the best look. And I think you could just go half a unit on both them versus the spread as well. -4.5. I know that the numbers came down. I'm not sure why. Bulls team total, Cavs defense really struggle without stars. They could potentially get run out of gas. Like I said here, Cavs, they're allowing 117 points per game without Donovan Mitchell. And 5 of the teams that they face have gone over their team total. And 5 of those teams have actually scored 116 points or more. So I'm not sure why the total is so low in this spot. The Bulls averaging 116.6, so almost 117 points per game in 12 games so far this season without Zach LaVine. They've scored 113 or better in 7 of the last 10 matchups. So I know that this total is low. I think, like I said, this is a game where Chicago could win, potentially 108 to like 100 and cover the spread, but not necessarily get to their team total because they've been playing really good defense. But on the opposite side, like I said, Cleveland's defense has not been as good without those key guys being in there. So I think what I'm going to end up doing, I'm probably going to end up adding both, maybe a half unit on Chicago team total over and a half unit on Chicago against the number at 4.5. I think this is a spot that Cleveland, like I said, can run out of gas before Chicago. Chicago's been balling. Why fade them now? Those are my thoughts on this game. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. Let's see. Going back to that last game. VC says, reminding everybody hit the like button. He says, hit the like button. You did? Appreciate you, VC. Colin says, Ja Morant assist might be a good spot against the Hawks here. They give up the third most assists to point guards and on a back-to-back correlates with the money line. I agree, Colin. I agree. Fred VanVleet just had 14 assists the other day, even though they lost the game. So it could definitely be a Ja Morant assist type game for sure. They also have, a little bit more paint protection, than that Indiana Pacers team that he played against the other day. So, having Clint Capella down there could definitely help. With him being able to get to the rim and then actually facilitate versus scoring every time. Real quick, let me look into that real quick. Let's look into that. So Ja Morant, I was actually thinking this last night, just didn't get a chance to dive into it. So Ja Morant versus the Hawks specifically. Let's see. Ja Morant last couple games versus the Hawks. So he played against them. What is that? March the 26th, he had 27 points and 6 assists. March the 18th, so 7 days before, he only had 29 points and 4 assists. So his assists, he really just don't get a lot of assists. 6, 4, 1, 7, 7, 6. But granted, the way things are going right now, I still like it. In current form, I think it's a really good play. And I would get there with you, Colin. Not sure what that number is, but I could definitely see that. Damian likes Grizzlies -3. Bryant says Chicago team total over 110. So we definitely in agreement with both of these plays from Damian and Bryant. Vaughn says Bull team total over 110. Cavs have allowed 116 or more last 6. Absolutely here, Vaughn. Absolutely. That's the way I'll be looking. He said Brian also says Kobe keeps hitting his props. He does. Kobe White's been absolutely hooping. Tariq says it's a bull spot. I agree there. Sosa says riding Kobe until he doesn't cover his PRA. Could not talk you off. You've been a cash cow. Malik says I like the full game under, Chris. Man, I don't know about that one, Malik. 216 is literally both teams. So 216 divided by 2 is what? 108. You give 2 points, so it's 110 to 110 to 104. I think y'all take y'all foot up off the gas a little bit and I think the Cavs can even get to 105 points, Malik. And I definitely think y'all can get over y'all team total. So I think I lean more towards the over. Could they run out of gas? Absolutely. But that Cavs team is pretty young. They don't have a lot of, old guys outside of, guys like Gorgeous Niang and Tristan Thompson. But no Tristan Thompson equals less defense as well. So I actually like the full game to go over, but more so towards Chicago team total. And I'm probably going to end up getting there. Like I said, half unit on Chicago team total over, half unit on Chicago minus the 4.5 as well. Raptors fans says, I like the Bulls -4 in here as well, Chris. So we got some agreement there on the Bulls. Malik says he took the Bulls last night on the spread and Vooch rebounds as well. Could not talk you off there. Let's see what we got. We got Giannis ruled in, and we got Mojan Beauchamp is also available to play today. So, yeah, that game's, probably about to start here soon. I feel like I've been doing the show for forever. An hour and 10 minutes in the books, man. 150 people watching live. We still haven't got through the whole card. Man, I'm tired. Hit the like button for me while I take a sip of water, man. Appreciate y'all. Zachariah says, Ja, going to land on 8. Swear, shaking my head. And that could be true, Zachariah. I'm not taking Ja Morant assist prop today, but I can definitely see him landing on 8. I can see him getting 10. I can definitely see him turning up in the A as well. Him versus Trae Young, that's been something that's been going on for a while. Chris says, on Grizz, minus 108, money line on DraftKings. I want to say, yeah, I like that. Like that a lot. And that's what I'm on as well. My favorite play today is the Grizzlies today, just for people who's joining late. On the Glow, the Glow Gaming says, yo, Chris, missed the first few minutes. Can you give me a brief recap on thoughts of the early game? Yeah, like you can go back and listen to the beginning on the Globe. But if I had to play, I played the over 243.5 last night. That number moved against me a little bit. It's up to 240. It went down to 243, but I did play the over. It's a half unit play. I'm not going super crazy in that game. And if I had a favorite player prop, it'd be Brook Lopez over his 2.5 threes. It was plus 130 last night or early this morning when I looked on BetMGM and on DraftKings. That's the way I would play this one. Tariq also reminded us that Jalen Suggs and Joe Ingles got ruled out. Dad says, appreciate you doing a Saturday show. A lot of cappers take the weekends off when there's actually action. Yeah, I take the weekends off as well, Dad. It's a lot, man. And I'll be keeping a buck with y'all. If I knew that there was 11 games today, I would have told y'all I wasn't doing the show today either. When I said that, I hadn't looked ahead to the day, and I should have figured that because Christmas Eve is tomorrow, it wasn't going to be any Christmas Day games. But if I knew it was going to be 11 games, I definitely would have took the day off, especially with I got a lot of stuff going on today. I mentioned it yesterday, but I got a lot going on. Damian says Kobe White over his points keeps hitting. Couldn't talk you off, Damian White. He should keep cashing tonight for sure. Buffalo says, not sure if you went over the game yet, Chris, but took Anthony Edwards one block at plus 130. Couldn't talk you off of that, Buffalo. Appreciate you sharing that look. Matt says, appreciate you, man. 1 hour plus. Yeah, and we still going and got games to get through. David says, might just have to stop reading comments, Chris. I laugh a lot. I'm not a hater, but it's crazy to have you reading 30 minutes worth of comments. That's a fact, man. Brian says, you said Lopez 2.5 threes. Do you mean blocks? Yes, my fault, Brian. 2.5 blocks, not threes. Not threes. 2.5 blocks, not threes. And he could hit the threes, but I like him making the threes a little bit more, of course, when Mitchell Robinson is out there. And they won't have Mitchell Robinson out there today. All right, so we got a couple more games to get through. 3 times says Nuggets, Raptors, Nets, Warriors, money line for him. Okay. So that's a money line parlay he likes. So Lakers, Thunder. This game actually opened with the Lakers laying Lakers weren't laying anything. The Thunder were laying 3.5 points. This line went up to 4. I think that was public money betting on OKC in this spot. You see it come back down to 3.5, down to 3. I'll tell you guys this. For injury wise, Rui Hachimura, AD Bron, all listed as questionable. I think they all play. Jared Vanderbilt, probable. He probably is going to play. OKC, Josh Giddey, also listed as probable. He rolled his ankle the other day, but he did come back into that game, if I'm not mistaken. For the Lakers, losers are 4 in a row, 5 of their last 6. The only one that they won after the in-season tournament was a game that came against the Spurs. So really gross basketball here. They do host Boston on Christmas, and this is the last game of a 3-game road trip here. It's not the greatest spot for them. Last game of a 3-game road trip should be in a desperation spot, but I don't really want to bet against OKC right now. If you watch the post-game, you listen to the post-game interviews, Anthony Davis did say, next game is a must-win game. We got to get off this losing skid. Like, we got to figure it out. We got to put it together. We know that they lost to the Timberwolves. LeBron James didn't play in that game, but they did cover in that spot, and they started to actually make some shots. The problem with this game for me, OKC is absolutely killing it at the crib. They're a more rested team. It's their 3rd straight home game. They actually don't leave because they got 2 more games after the Christmas break at home as well. So it'll be a 5-game road homestand for them. And they've been cleaning teams up left and right, winning by double digits all throughout this week. So they don't have to leave home. They also don't have a Christmas Day game, and they absolutely hate the Lakers as well. So I think I can see this game kind of going each way. I will say if the spread goes back to, I know it won't get there, but if the spread goes up to 4.5, I'll probably end up getting there with the Lakers. I just don't want to fade Oklahoma City. I think that they do win the game, but the Lakers sound like they're gonna put their best foot forward tonight. And we've heard this before, but as they get closer to Christmas, they get more and more desperate for a win because narrative's starting to build up. Especially with guys like D'Angelo Russell, who literally had about 5 points in his last 6 games. Absolutely been playing terrible lately. So let's see. I see the total dropping in that Cleveland game down to 215.5. OKC already beat the Lakers earlier. That was a second leg of a back-to-back for the Lakers in that spot as well. And now you see him laying points in this spot. Really, really difficult game for me here. Like I said, don't want to fade OKC. The world probably should be on OKC just because they've been hot. But this game to me feels like the Lakers are going to come put their best foot forward. I'm listening to the post-game interviews. AD said they absolutely have to have a win here. And if you can get them at plus 3.5, I think that you could potentially, make some money in this spot. But like I said, don't want to fade OKC either. So those are my thoughts. Let me get to the comments real quick. I'll try to be quick. Let's see. This is a tough game to cap. The Lakers have been tough to look at. Yeah, I agree, Dr. Shilley. Absolutely agree. Brian likes the Thunder in the first half. Let's see. McLean says, huge OKC fan here and no bias, but I'm on OKC here. We don't really like the Lakers. I just said that. He said games between us are always electric. Giddey is not listed as out, Brian. He is listed as probable. I think Giddey's going to play. Raptors fan says thoughts on SGA at 33.5. Is it too inflated? I would think it is too inflated in this spot, Raptors fan. SGA is the baller. Never could talk you off of his props. But SGA also just hit the game winner in Denver and said, he had a quote on his Instagram about, taking the under. He don't care. He don't care if his points prop don't hit. As long as they win the game is all he care about. So I think 33.5 is a tad bit too inflated. Chet Blocks has continued to cash. Couldn't talk anybody off looking at that spot, but I don't have a strong feel in that game. Let's keep going. We got 3 more games, I think, to get into. Next game up, I don't have a lot on these last games. I'll tell you guys that up front. So Spurs will be in Dallas today. We really just got to get the injury information in this spot to even play this game. So Luka's still listed as questionable. Dante Exum still listed as questionable. And Derek Lively, who didn't play in the last couple games, also upgraded to questionable as well. San Antonio, all 3 straight losses, 3 straight last game of a 3-game road trip for them. Dallas, second leg of a back-to-back. They got smoked last night in Houston, so not a lot of travel. They do play in Phoenix on Christmas Day. We know Luka took the game off last night. I think it's an abductor with Luka. Not sure what's going to happen in this game for him. These 2 teams did open the season in San Antonio, where Dallas actually won and covered as a 4.5-point favorite. So now you see them coming back home. The line got a little bit stronger in their favor. The total hasn't really moved, but I think it will as we get closer. You got to remember, this game doesn't start until 8:40, so we got a lot of time before this game actually starts. Not sure what to do with this game. San Antonio's looked like a shell of themselves lately. They really can't score the ball. Dallas defense has looked really, really bad, so maybe potentially over. The total is a little bit too high for me at 239. So I can really kind of see this one going either way. But like I said, you really need the news with Lively. You really, of course, need to lose with Luka. And if Luka doesn't play, which I think he does, but if Luka doesn't play, you definitely need Dante Exum in this spot because their offense looked really bad, as I kind of anticipated yesterday against Houston. So real quick analysis there. Let's see what you guys are talking about in the chat. 77 figures like the Lakers. He said they mule the fakers. Okay. Let's see. Sosa says Thunder first quarter winner. Lakers come out slow. I could see that, but they could be highly motivated in this spot, Sosa. So just wanted to kind of, give both perspectives. Let's see. Buffalo says not an NBA look, but for college took Toledo plus 4.5 versus West Virginia, and also on the money line. Okay, best of luck there. Zachariah says Bron 3's got to be a look. Yeah, you got to let me know why, Zachariah. Bron has not been shooting the 3-point ball well, but I'm pretty sure you got a little bit more on it. ZPLC says, hit the like button, y'all. Yeah, definitely hit the like button. We can get out of here in a second. I'll recap all the plays. We got a couple games to get through as well. But hit that like button for me if you guys haven't. Game Day Jay says, I used to bet with my heart, but if the Lakers are meant to win today, they will win. That is a fact. I'm not sure if they meant to win, though. We'll see. Dante says, needs Luka and Lively have not won if one of those guys have missed this season. What's up, Fremont? Appreciate you for being here. Tariq says, skip the Mavs game, pending the injury report. I would agree there. All right, so let's get back into it. We just got 2 more games, and I'll give you guys my leans and my thoughts on all the rest of them as well. So Blazers and Warriors is the next game up. This game is totals come down from 233.5 down to, I see it all the way down to 231.5. This is live since we started the show. Spread opened at 9. It's down to 8.5, down to 8 as well in this spot. I agree with the movement coming down here. I didn't play the game, but it kind of makes sense to me. So for Portland, they will be without Shaedon Sharpe. This will be the second game that he's missed. Golden State has Wiggins on the injury report listed as questionable. They also have Draymond still out, of course. They looked really good last night against Washington Wizards team that was on the second leg of a back-to-back. Portland, not the greatest home favorite team. Of course, they just lost to the Wizards. They're 4-10 straight up on the road, but 9-5 on the road. They are just 2-8 straight up in their last 10. They really kind of struggled as they kind of getting all their pieces back. And you still got Shaedon Sharpe not in there today, but Jeremy Grant returned a couple games with that concussion. You also got Malcolm Brogdon back not too long ago. Golden State just 4-9-1 against the spread at home. Second leg of a back-to-back for them. Golden State has won the last 3 meetings versus Portland, but Portland's actually covered the last 2, and both from this season. And both of those games actually went under as well. So I think 233 is, like I said, a tad bit too many points. Of course, you see that number come down. If I'm playing this game, I'm looking towards the under. I also think Golden State could win. I don't know if they necessarily cover by 10. I think Portland is the right side in this game. You just got, the 2 strong trends. Like I said, Portland 9-5 against the spread on the road, coming off a loss. Golden State coming off 2 straight wins, and they're also just 4-9 against the spread at home. So I think and also, I forgot to mention this. Golden State travels to Denver. So good potential look-ahead spot for Golden State in this spot. They travel to Denver for the Christmas Day game as well. So probably not looking, they just beat Portland. They beat Portland every time. So probably not, looking towards, really getting up too much for this game. They wanted to make sure Jordan Poole didn't have a great game yesterday, and they did a pretty good job of that. And they did, get the Wizards up out of there, but the Wizards were also at the rest disadvantage yesterday. So I'll take the points, the plus 8.5, which you still can get right now with the Golden State with the Portland Trail Blazers. And I'd also be looking towards the under in this spot. Those are my thoughts on that game. Let's go back to the comment section real quick. Let's see. I do like the Grizzlies today, Fremont. Love the Grizzlies today. It's my top play. I don't care if the Grizzlies end up being dogs. As long as, hold on, we got to be missing something. Atlanta now 1.5 point favorites. Did we get some news? Somebody knows something that we don't know. Hold on here now. I don't see anything to drop. Atlanta has now flipped to 1.5 point favorites. Maybe somebody knows something I don't know. My bet's in. I'm riding with it until I at least find out, what's going on. Going back to that last game, Zachariah says he likes Dort over 12.5 points at plus 105. He's 3 for 3 versus the Lakers. Okay. Jabari says there's too many things I want to bet. I would agree there. Let's see. Brandon says Phoenix is complete trash without Nurkic, who has been out with injuries. They're a good team to bet against when he's out against. Yeah, no, I agree there. That's why we made some money with the Kings last night. Jordan Clarkson actually got ruled in. He was not supposed to play today. He wasn't even supposed to come back, I think, until after the new year. Jordan Clarkson just got ruled in. That's crazy. That helps them a lot. He's probably going to be a little rusty, but that helps a lot. Simon Threes is a good look game day, Jay says. Tariq says Golden State money line probably in a parlay. Brandon says what I said. Golden State will likely be looking ahead to the Christmas Day game against Denver. Zachariah says Bron averages 4 threes versus OKC. Had 4 last 3 versus OKC and has 8, 6, and 6 attempts. OKC 24th in 3-point attempts and 29th in 3-point attempts. And 29th in 24th in 3-point makes and 29th in 3-point attempts. Fremont says what I says. Warriors probably looking ahead and also saying some passes in this game. So let's get to the last game on the slate for tonight, and that will be the Timberwolves. They will be in Sacramento tonight, taking on the Sacramento Kings team. Line open at 2.5 is up to 3 at most spots. And the total open at 231.5 is up to 233. I actually like the over in this game. Didn't play it. I really got to look a little bit more into it. This was the last game on the card, so it's the one that I did the least amount of work on, of course. But I'll tell you guys this. The only reason I didn't take the Timberwolves is because Karl-Anthony Towns got ruled out. I really wanted to get on the Timberwolves in this spot. Don't like it, of course, as much without him being in there. I think Naz Reid, right? I'm not even sure if we got Naz Reid prop yet. But Naz Reid without Karl-Anthony Towns was something that I wrote down in my notes last night or early this morning, like super early this morning. No cat. What I wrote was, he's going to have higher usage in this spot. He has double digits in 2 of his last 3 games versus the Sacramento Kings. He shot 55% or better in all 3 of those games as well. Also like his threes. They're probably going to be 1.5. You know that you can get a bunch of threes. You're going to have to shoot threes to keep up with the Kings as far as pace-wise goes. So Naz Reid threes and his points are probably a really good look in this spot and the way I would play it here. Let's see what you guys talking about in the chat, because that's literally all I got. David says Naz Reid is the people's champ. I agree there. 77 Figure says KD just looks like just a, quote, guy, unquote, now doesn't even affect winning anymore in his opinion. I don't know if I say that. I would say that there are a lot of moving pieces right now with that offense is what I would say in that game. You got to notice the patterns, man. When these teams are like don't have specific guys, a lot of the times it hurts them a lot. And that's when you see these long losing streaks when coaches are having to, have 10, 15, 12 different starting lineups. It doesn't really work building cohesiveness. And that's when you want to fade those teams. That's why I faded the Suns last night, because they didn't have Nurkic. Grayson Allen just coming back from injury. Josh Okogie gets ruled out, right? Like Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, you're not going to be able to save the world. So I think that's it. But when they get everybody back, I think they'll be okay. I think they'll be okay for sure. Justin says, thanks for doing the show today, my guy. It's much appreciated. Have a Merry Christmas to you and your family. Absolutely. Right back at you, Justin. Appreciate you as well. All right. So let's go through. That's all the games. Let's go through. I'll give you guys what I was looking at on every single game real quick. If I had to make a play, a couple of these games, I'm not even going to force a play, but I'll give you guys my top looks. And I'll tell you guys what I bet as well. So what I bet was the over in the Knicks in the Nets game. I'm sorry, the Knicks in the Bucks game, the first game. That game actually tips off in, let's see. That game tips off in about an hour. So 12:40. 243.5 is what I got. The number's 243 right now. I like that. And that's what I played in that first game. Boston and Clippers game. Also, Brook Lopez. Like I said, look, I'm not playing a bunch of player props because they just haven't been cashing for me. But Brook Lopez over his 2.5 threes, I think is worth a look in this game. And then also, hold on, let me do this so I know where my timestamps were. Because if you join late, I will go back and chop this video up just because I'm doing it so early. I will go back and chop it up. So 1 hour, 28 minutes, we'll do recap. All right. So going back, I'll start over. So looking at that first game, over 243.5 is the only way I played it, and the only way I would look in that game. And then, like I said, Brook Lopez over his 2.5 blocks plus 130. Love that you can get that at plus money. Not an official play, but that's the way I would play that. Clippers and the Celtics. I mean, Tatum, eventually going to be ruled in. We're going to see what happened with Kawhi Leonard in this spot, but I'll be looking at the Clippers. I think the Clippers can get the job done, especially without Porzingis being in this game. Don't really like the spot for the Clippers, being that it's their 6 game in 10 nights. But I do think that the Clippers can get the job done here. Celtics got the Lakers on deck for Christmas. So, and I don't want to back Boston when they don't have Porzingis against a really, really good team on the opposite side. Remember, the Clippers are 8-3 straight up in home games with Harden since he's been on that team. So lean Clippers, didn't bet it. Plus the 2.5 now, because Boston actually 2.5 point favorite. Magic Orlando, I like Orlando plus the point. Plus the 1.5. This line is now at 2 with Jalen Suggs being ruled out. Don't really like that as much because he is their best defender, and I'm probably not going to get there. But I do think that Indiana runs out of gas today, like I talked about earlier. I'd be looking towards Orlando plus the points in that game. Nuggets and Hornets, I bet the under 226.5. I also bet the Charlotte Hornets team total specifically under 109.5 as well. Those are I put a half unit on both of those. Didn't go super crazy. Rockets and Pelicans, like I said, I think the Pelicans are the right side in this game. Pelicans are on the short list, minus the 6.5. Didn't get there. The line is moving up to 7, but it's still some 6.5s out there as well. But that's the way I would play that one. Also, like I said, looking towards Jalen Green, man. I didn't play it, but Jalen Green under 17.5 points, seven straight games he's going under, and 9 of his last 10 as well. Not sure what's going on. Second leg of a back-to-back, 7th game in 11 days. I'll be looking at Jalen Green to go under as well. Pistons and Nets, not a game that I bet, but if I'm looking at it, I'm taking the under. Total did drop from 233 to 232.5. I'll be looking at the under in this spot. Also, crazy to think, but I think the Pistons can cover. Don't think they can win. Do think they can cover the big 9.5 number, though. Jazz and Raptors. Only way I'll be able to play this game was Raptors minus the points. Like I said, that'd be the ugliest play of the day. I'm not betting it because I want to enjoy my day before Christmas Eve, but Raptors would be the top play in this spot. Like I said, bad travel spot for Utah. Even with Raptors on the second leg of a back-to-back and having to travel from Philly, this is the Jazz 7th game in 11 nights. Even if they get Jordan Clarkson back, he could potentially be really, really fatigued and kind of be out of shape in this spot just because he hasn't been playing a lot in their game. So Raptors minus the 5.5, which absolutely sounds crazy, but it's a spot play, right? And that line's moving up to 6 too. So Raptors minus the points in that game. Grizzlies and Hawks, my favorite play of the day, and I'm not sure why the line is moving, and I really could care less. I wish I would have waited, but I did take Memphis minus the 1 last night on FanDuel. So you can get a much better number now, but I like Memphis in this spot. Like I said, Atlanta, not the greatest spot, man. It's a real bad travel fatigue spot for Atlanta here. Second leg of a back-to-back, 3rd and 4, 7th game in 11 days for them as well. They could potentially get DeAndre Hunter back in this spot, though. Cavs and Bulls, I'm probably going to bet this. Haven't bet it yet. Bulls team total over 110.5. Chicago minus the 4.5 as well. I'm not sure why the Cavs are not favorite, are just dogs of 4.5 points. I think the market's still kind of, not caught up with the Bulls if they're only laying 4.5 in this spot. Do think that this probably closes at 5, maybe even 5.5, but we can wait. This game is not played until 8:10, and maybe Chicago sits somebody. Maybe they sit DeRozan or something in this spot. Not 100% sure. We'll see how it goes, but those two plays, if everybody's ruled in, I'm not going to force it. It's 11:40 in the morning. I don't have to, make these plays super early. But Chicago, I'm only looking at them to cover. I'm only looking at their team total to go over. Lakers and Thunder, not a game that I'm going to play. I already know I'm not going to play it. But I would lean Lakers plus the points in this spot. I think Thunder could absolutely win. They could absolutely mollywop the Lakers. But something tells me Lakers losing 4 straight in a row, 5 of their last 6, they're probably going to be motivated in this spot. Couldn't get there because of the Thunder. Like I said, the Thunder, they've been smashing teams left and right. 3rd straight home game. They got 2 more coming up. Don't have a game look ahead to Christmas. So that's why I didn't get there. But I can see the Lakers kind of keeping this one close. Next game, Spurs and Mavs. Can't bet it at all. Need to know the injury status of Luka. Need Exum injury status and need Lively injury status as well. Not looking at anything on the San Antonio side at all. Let's see. Blazers and Warriors. Like I said, leaning towards the Blazers. Warriors got the look-ahead game to Denver on Christmas Day. Also coming off the second leg of a back-to-back. They probably will win this game. I just don't know if it'll be by margin. So plus the 8.5 is still available right now. Remember, Portland 9-5 against the spread on the road. Golden State just 4-9-1. They actually didn't cover last night either. Depending on where you got the number, it was either a loss or a push in that spot as well. Timberwolves versus Kings, not a game that I'm probably going to be into. I do think that Nas Reed, like I said, over his 1.5 threes, whenever that number drops, I don't even think it's dropped yet. Without Cat in there, he should absolutely feast today. They don't have a lot of rim protection. So, and they probably, this is what the Kings do. They win again, they lose a game, get smoked, then they win a game, then they probably gonna come back down to earth and I wouldn't say that they're gonna lose this game. The Timberwolves are a really good defensive team, but I think without having Karl-Anthony Towns out there, it's gonna be hard to make up for him not being out there for what he's been doing on the offensive end. Cat's been a double-double machine lately, outside of scoring the points. So that's every single game broken down. Did the recap for you guys. What I actually played. Let me tell you guys what I played for sure. Let's see. So I'll type this in real quick. Milwaukee and New York. I played the over. I gave these out already as well. Milwaukee, New York. I played the over 243.5. Memphis, I played them -1. That was the only play I put a whole unit on. Denver, Charlotte, I played the under 226.5, thinking that when I woke up this morning, that line would move, but it hasn't, which is totally fine. I'm cool with that. I played Charlotte team total under 109.5. Those are the 4 plays that I put in. Other strong looks, like I said, Orlando, either their team total over or plus the points. The Pelicans -6.5. Houston and New Orleans, probably not touching that, and Nas Reed. Those are the plays that I like the most. So let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. Let me get up a couple speakers real quick. I just get up a couple. I ain't heard from my guy Prop in a while. Let me get Prop up. And then we gonna get ready to get up off of this thing, man. I'm so thirsty and tired and hungry. And it's an hour and 35 minutes in the books, breaking down every single game on the card for you guys. So hit the like button for me if you guys can. It's greatly appreciated. Let's see. Let's go back real quick and just kind of. Brian says, thanks for the show. Chat less cash. Colin says he loves the Nas Reed look. Yeah, I like Nas Reed a lot today. Brandon says I almost never bet overs in games with early starts. This game often starts very slow, or they start very fast. What's up? Can you hear me? I can hear Chris. Can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear. My fault. I must have muted myself by accident. My fault. All right. So, what up? What up, bro? Absolutely, my brother. Absolutely. I appreciate you. I appreciate you pulling up on me, Prop. Say it again. It's always love, man. I love that you still going. I want to salute you for holiday weekend. You just got the I always appreciate the work you put in, bro. You weren't born with it. I didn't listen to you for a minute. Get me through my little work day this morning. So I just appreciate you always still going strong, bro. My God. Appreciate that, Prop. Appreciate that for sure, man. Appreciate that for sure. Yes, 2 looks I want to share. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. What you got, Prop? So I knew you were speaking on Charlotte, bro. Uh-huh. And I love Aaron Gordon in this spot, bro. So over 6.5 rebounds. I got plus money last night was plus 106. Now listen, Aaron Gordon on 0 days rest. 4 for 4 to that over this season. Last time you see Charlotte, he had 10 plus rebounds. So he finished with a double-double. And I went back and checked the trend to make sure it wasn't just a this year thing. This is dating back to last season. Gordon is over 6.5 rebounds in 10 of his last 12 playing on 0 days rest. The Hornets, as far as the matchup, are giving up the second most rebounds to power forwards in the NBA. So I love Gordon today. I was with Joker, and since they got the Christmas Day matchup with the Warriors, I heard you speak on you think that all the stars will play. But I love Gordon. It's like even Joker plays, but if Joker doesn't play, then of course we'll probably lose by but I'm just hoping that Gordon plays for sure. Yeah, I mean, Prop, that makes a lot of sense, man. One thing that I said that kind of correlates with that a lot is that Charlotte offense is absolutely terrible. Like they're atrocious. They're averaging 102 points in I think it's 7 games without LaMelo and Mark Williams. So what that tells me is if you're averaging 102 points, that's a lot of rebound opportunities for the opposing, power forwards and centers. So I absolutely love that spot, Prop. Appreciate you sharing that one. What else you got for us? You got another one? My first play of the game on your spaces was that whatever. Yep, I remember that. It's been a long time ago. And I would love to see Kobe White flourish and finally get an opportunity to actually play this game. That's the biggest difference. That's a fact. And he's been a rebounding machine. We still getting this thing for 4.5 is crazy. He's over in 8 of his last 10. Not the best hit rate against Cleveland, but you got to take it back. The last time you seen Cleveland was last season when he didn't have a true role with the Bulls, and he was in that game. He's over in 8, like I said, 8 of the last 10 without Levine, and I think the Bulls are 8-3. The last 11. Yep, so they are. The Bulls to win. You can even get a BPD. Kobe White, I think 6 rebounds in the win. Last night was plus 205, but I took the base 405. I'm gonna give it all the time. Today, people don't share me here first from the people, man. I love them to get 5 boards tonight. Okay. Hey, I love both of these looks, Prop. So Kobe White to go over to get at least 5 boards and Aaron Gordon to get at least 7. Yep. Gordon was plus 106 last night. I think it's minus 115 right now. Kobe White was and he's still sitting right now. At least about an hour ago he was. Okay. Hey, appreciate you, Prop. Happy holidays, my brother. You too, bro. All right, let's keep going. Let's go Godspeed, and then we'll get Flow up, and then I got Flow up, and then we'll get up out of here. Godspeed, talk to me, man. A lot of games today. What we liking?
Good, bro. I got a couple lanes, but I got two official plays.
Okay.
Just a quick recap. Yesterday, I gave out 5 straights on the show. We hit 4 of them. Missed one because Jokic didn't get the triple double. All 4 of the props, third quarter cash, so sweat free cash. We gotta love that.
Love it.
Hopefully, carry on into today. But for the early game, I'm on Emmanuel quickly, man. Emmanuel quickly over 12.5 points at minus 135 on ESPN bet. A trend that I've noticed with the Knicks, it's quickly at home, Brunson on the road. Quickly averages about, I got it in my notes, 17 points at home and like 15 points something on the road. When you look at Jalen Brunson, he averages 26 points on the road and 22 points at home. So it's kind of like one of those things. I think I came up on your show and talked about it a lot last season with Malcolm Brogdon and Derek White. It was Brogdon on the road, Derek White at home. So I love quickly. He's had 19 and 20 in his last 2 games, so he's seen the ball well and really hooping. He shot 1 for 7 in that last game versus Milwaukee, which is makes this a bounce back spot for him as well. And like I just talked about, he plays better at home versus on the road. In the first game versus Milwaukee, because he's seen him twice, he did cover this line with 14 points. And we know the Bucks can guard anybody. So you have campaign in front of him. Go ahead, kill him, bro. Like, it might be a first half cash so quickly, folks. And my next look is a sneaker one, man. I'm going Jaden McDaniels, man. I know you touched on Nas Reed, and that was my look initially, but I was like, let me look at Jaden McDaniels because the last couple games he's been hooping too. And it's been Wick Towns. So when I did some more research, he's over his 13 and a half, like I said, in the last 2 games, bringing him to an average of 17.5 points. He averaged 19 points in his last 5 without Karl Anthony Towns dating back to last season. He saw Sacramento 4 times without Karl Anthony Towns last season and covered in 3 out of 4 of those games, averaging 16.3 points. This props line is at 13 and a half, Chris. And, the Kings, they going to try to run, but on back-to-backs, we see less defense played. McDaniels is one of those guys that get a lot of his buckets in transition or in the paint. So I think, the Kings, they don't really have no rim protection. I think Minnesota will get out and run, and I can see Jaden McDaniels really stepping up with the absence of Karl Anthony Towns. So I took his over 13 and a half. I think I got it at minus 120 on ESPN bet. And I believe I'm going to get here. I haven't made it official yet. I got about 10 minutes to make it official. But the 2020 for quickly and Jaden McDaniels is a plus 3,000. I'm probably going to throw 0.2 on that. I just think it's a look that I think quickly can do his thing at home. Like I said, if you look at his game log at home, he's been right there in the 18, 19 point range. And then Jaden McDaniels, like I said, without Karl Anthony Towns in the last 5 games, he's averaging 19 points. So I really like both of those guys tonight. But that's all I got that's official right now.
Okay. Hey, I appreciate the looks, guys. I think it definitely could be Jaden McDaniels. It could definitely be him. I can see him stepping up. I mean, it could be like, they got so many like undervalued players. I feel like it could be Slow-Mo. It could be Troy Brown Jr. We got to remember the Kings don't play a lot of defense. So while I'm expecting it to be Nas Reed, and I didn't bet him, but while I'm expecting it to be a Nas Reed, I could definitely see it being McDaniels as well. IQ could absolutely turn up in this spot as well. He gets a very, very soft defense, especially at the guard position. So couldn't talk you off. Best of luck, Godspeed. Happy holidays, my brother. Hope you cash it, man.
What's up, bro? Good luck tonight.
Absolutely. All right, let's go, Flo. Flo, what's going on, my brother? Real quick, before you speak, Flo, I got a question for you. Somebody asked in the chat, they said, hey, Chris, hold on, let me go back to the question. They said, Chris, can you ask Flo his thoughts on Giannis assists over in 7 of the last 10 versus the Knicks with 2 hooks? Might sprinkle his triple-double. So I want to give you the floor, but I also want your thoughts on this because Colin asks. He wants Flo's thoughts specifically on New York Knicks insider. What's up, Flo? How you doing, my brother?
First off, I feel honored It's sad to wipe the crust out of my eye. We were doing this. Besides Chris giving the people free game on a holiday Saturday with like 29 games.
Right.
So shout out to you. But to answer the question, I love Giannis' assist. It's one of my officials today. When he played the Knicks last time, he covered it. He's going to have plenty of opportunities. I always say bigs, especially now that Mitchell Robinson's gone, I even love the assist even more. Like, I would ladder it up. I took the base, but I didn't want to have like a million plays. But love Giannis' assist. That's one of mine. I couldn't disagree with anything Godspeed said. I love quickly today. I'm just going with Brunson because of the whole narrative with Becky Hammond. The fact that versus the Bucks this year, one he had like 45, another he had 24. I think his points at 24 and a half. I think it's 25. But the fact that in the 2 games against the Bucks, sky high usage over 33%. The fact that the Bucks are giving up the 4th most points to point guards. The fact that he's been home for the last 2 days listening to this whole story about Becky Hammond. He's too small, whatever. I don't know. I think the 25, and I also took 30 plus a win. I could just totally see this being like a Knicks win at noon because they got to play them again in 2 days, and the Bucks will probably get it in 2 days. But I can just see like the Knicks winning today. Brook Lopez blocks. That's like Thursday. We've been over this before, but we you know what to do with that one is. My sneaky one that I really like, and I'm going on a limb here, is Bobby Portis boards ladder. I skipped the 6.5, but I went straight to 8 at plus 100. You could take the 10, but that's the double-double at 330 and the 12 at 800. I just really think that, like, look at the last game with Day'Ron Sharpe, what he did. This game has, like, the profile of, like, an up-tempo spot, especially with the bench unit. Day'Ron Sharpe went crazy. I want to say he finished for, like, 15 rebounds. Our backup center is Taj Gibson right now, and behind him is no one. So, yeah, the center is probably going to go crazy on the rebounds like last game. And Bobby, if you look at his track record, I don't have all my numbers in front of me, but he has like a history versus the Knicks where like when he plays like 24 plus minutes, he has like I want to say like 3 double-doubles in like the last like 6 games or something like that. So I like that. I also like the rebounding opportunities for Josh Hart as well because the Bucks get kind of smoked at the small forward/power forward position, especially like when Hart played. Hart at one game he had like 4 rebounds, but if you look at like when he started, he had like 10. So my long shot for today, I have a bunch on my page, but my long shot for today. Bobby 12 boards, Hart 8 boards, Hart 2 steals. Hart has like a steal in like every game against the Bucks like the last 15. So like, if you can get one more, that's plus 10,000. Like that's like 0.05. I'm doing it because it's like my sister's birthday. It's noon. I just want something stupid to root for. But those are my looks I got for today.
Hey, happy birthday to your sister, man. Happy holidays to you, Flo. Appreciate the looks. Everything you said, Flo, is what I was thinking as well. As far as you went through a lot, but I talked about, I don't know if you were in here. I was looking for you earlier. I talked about when I broke this game down, I talked about Josh Hart rebounds potentially being, probably having the most value because I think somebody might have mentioned Bobby Portis, which I couldn't talk anybody off Bobby Portis. But I think your analysis on this game is spot on, bro. And I agree with a lot of what you said. Best of luck, my brother. Appreciate you and happy holidays to you and the family, man.
Happy holidays to you as well, man. Go Knicks.
Yeah, we'll see how the game goes. Real quick on that game, I did talk about, like I said, I took the over on Circa. The line is moving back up to 243.5. It's actually up to 244 now. So we'll see where it settles. But I like I said, I do like the over. I gave the analysis. If you join late, I'm as soon as the stream ends in a second, I will chop all this up so you guys can go back and kind of figure out, the analysis on every single game because I do have thoughts on every single game. I don't have plays on every single game, but I do got thoughts on every single game. So I'll let you guys know what I'm looking at all, for all the games. Definitely, stay in tune with the injury report, man. Like I said, we just saw Jordan Clarkson. He was not supposed to be, upgraded into this game. So stay on top of the injury news. Enjoy your Saturdays, man. Enjoy Christmas Day. And, if you celebrate the holiday, and still trying to get some cash, man. Still trying to get some cash. Like I said, I'll do a Christmas Day show. As long as these shows, get a lot of likes, as long as it's a lot of love being shown, I'll do a Christmas Day show as well. Early morning Christmas Day show at that, or maybe the night before, after Santa eat the cookies. So we'll see. Best of luck to everybody today, man. And hit the like button for me on your way out. I'm gone.